it going, guys? We're back in another video here, and this video is going to be talking about when are we going to get a hut deep dive. But a lot of people are really getting a little bit annoyed saying, is there going to be a hut deep dive at all? Yeah, there's going to be a hut deep dive. There always pretty much is. Usually it's kind of late in the year, so let's look at when they really came out. So looking at NHL 21s, they didn't actually have an official deep dive. I just kind of made a video on it. So it premiered on October 7th. The game came out, I believe, October 8th, believe it or not, with EA Access. Then you had NHL 22's Deep Dive, which also came out October 6, 2021. So again, very, very close to the release, a few days off, not even like a week before the game officially was out. You had the Deep Dive for Hut. And last but not least, NHL 23's. NHL 23's came out October 7th. So pretty much it's always like October 6th, 7th, kind of the same every year. So we might get another potential NHL 24 Deep Dive potentially a few days before, so that could be like September 30th or something. And then getting into NHL 21, kind of what they did was they didn't actually have like a video trailer for NHL 21, which is a little bit surprising, but they pretty much go over all the new things in it. So you got Hut Rush, they give you a nice blog on that. You know, all this hope just kind of turned into a disaster with Hut Rush. There was so much potential and people were all excited for it, but it just didn't deliver. So then we got the synergies as well. They adjusted, so they kind of just told you there's some different synergies like names and stuff like that. Very, very similar though to NHL 20. I mean, I'm pretty sure these are the synergies still even NHL 23. So they really haven't changed these at all. We'll see if they change them at all in NHL 24. But NHL 21, the synergies look identical to NHL 23. And then they also show they're tuning some of the synergies here in NHL 21. I mean, they just kind of did some minor tweaks to like how much it costs to activate in a certain synergy. And then they were showing some of the player bio, synergy glossary, the auction house, the changes to that. This is the year they actually removed contracts and injuries. I mean, like cards at least. I mean, you can still get injured in Hut these days. I'm really not sure why it's even a thing, really. But I guess it just is. I mean, especially without no cards, it's kind of like really no reason to have injuries in there, but they have them in there anyway. But this was a huge step, removing the contracts. Contracts are so frustrating to have in the game. I mean, having to just constantly buy the contract pack the whole year was just really silly, and I just don't understand why they didn't remove it mid-year. But anyway, then they talk about some of the icons. That's when they used to have bronze, silver, and gold icons. I miss that, honestly. I kind of do miss that from NHL 21 at least. I mean, I don't really love the power-up icon system. Hopefully they change that in NHL 24 a little bit, but that's kind of what they were explaining here in the blog here about the icons and some of the other changes to the mode. And then we got the icons here. You got Gretzky and Eisman, so they kind of showed you what the card art was going to look like here as well for the icon cards. They also had price ranges added into the game this year as well. And then looking at some other things, they talk about team building. They removed game modes. This one is definitely an aware, removing comp seasons and online seasons. Then they talk here about some of the player progression for the skaters, like some of the speed gaps and like regression to it overall. And then they actually do tease the first event of the year, the Lit vs. Grit. They actually show the cards are going to be coming out, the Panarin, the Heiskanen, Bergeron, Suter, Wheeler. These cards were actually sick. That was a really fun event. I really liked the Lit vs. Grit event. And this is when they actually started having exclusive MSPs, like where like, oh, they had the MSPs 89, but then Panarin was an exclusive 90 overall one. You could try to get only in packs, I believe, or you could make them, but it costed a lot more to make than the regulars. And then you got NHL 22's Deep Dive here. They actually had a video going over all this stuff. So they first talk about the Hut Champ system and how there's win rewards. And really what's funny to me here is the fact that you can see they have 15, 14, 13, 12, which is weird because in NHL 22 and NHL 23, there was no 12 win rewards or 14 win rewards. Really not sure why that wasn't in the game ever. It was something that was promoted in the trailer, but just never in the game. Really, really odd from EA. And then we also have the new squad battle system. So what does that really mean? Well, basically you could change the difficulty and put the amount of time period length. So you could have shorter squad battle games overall. That was something that people definitely wanted in the game. You do get less points though for it. So this is still in the game now. It is in NHL 23 it was. Squad battles kind of remained exactly the same from NHL 22 to 23. In general, guys, NHL 22 to 23 was really not a huge jump at all in terms of features. The gameplay to me was worse, I would really argue. So to me, I mean, that was really their big thing here. They were talking about the squad battle system here. Again, just not too much. You could actually refresh your opponents, and you have to wait to actually like get your opponents every 24 hours. That was a nice change, but again, this was added in NHL 22, and I'm pretty sure squad battles are really not touched at all in NHL 23. So hopefully it gets some love in NHL 24, because I know you offline grinders do really enjoy squad battles and your offline modes in general. And then we also have the synergies they were kind of just showing off here, kind of talking about how they removed team synergies. I'm pretty sure, yeah, they removed it in 22, not in 21. So that was a pretty big deal. Team synergies were certainly making it imbalanced. Everyone just wanted to go for one synergy that could obviously activate speed for their whole team. That was kind of the main idea. So probably a good idea to remove that. I think they should remove synergies as a whole in general, personally. But in NHL 22, they did remove the team synergy option, which was probably a good idea in the long run. And then they show off the new X Factor cards. We all love that. X Factor power-up cards here. So basically your first look at them. Austin Matthews, a cover athlete in NHL 22 they wanted to feature here. You got your gold zone abilities. You got your synergy options you can choose. Yeah, that was kind of a big deal, I guess, this year, too. You could actually choose what synergies you wanted, because NHL 21, that was not a feature where you could actually choose what specific synergies you wanted active. So definitely a new addition. Like I said, 21 to 22 was kind of a decent upgrade, but 22 to 23, you know, not so much. And then they show the X Factor set pretty much. So you trade in your goal players, you get an X Factor player choice pack. We all know there's a nice little cooldown on it, but again, pretty much, I mean, I think it just costs a little bit more in NHL 23. Exactly the same sets, exactly the same way to get your X Factor cards. So hopefully that is a little bit different in NHL 24, kind of a different way to actually try to actually get these cards instead of just doing the same sets. And then you also have the seasonal sets, which, I mean, those are exactly the same in NHL 23 as well. Kind of just the same options also. I mean, I think there's maybe a few different options in 23, but not really much different. So that was kind of their thing they were really just kind of talking about here, was the seasonal reward sets. And then they actually do talk about the first event of the year. So this was the Superstar Origins one. I feel like in these deep dives, they actually kind of do really show the first event every year, which honestly I don't really love. And the reason why I don't love it is because I feel like then we just kind of know what the whole MSPs are for the whole entire like couple weeks of the event being out. So sure, was it cool to see these cards? Yes, it got me hyped. Matthews, Yager, Suzuki, right? Hedman, Jones. For sure, very cool, but at the same time, it kind of does kill the hype when they do release the first event before the game is even officially out. And then we have the icons and like the alumni players they add pretty much every year. There's always new alumni every year, so hopefully we get some cool ones this year. But for the most part, they always add at least a few. So you had Dan Boyle, Carlisle, Draper, Gagne, Hayduk, right? Some decent ones here. Ryan Smith, I think they had. Oh no, Craig McTavish. You had Nash, Parros, definitely Richard. Oh no, they did have Ryan Smith, Zubov, and just a few others. Then we have NHL 23, guys. The NHL 23 Hut Deep Dive, and for sure, looking back, they really didn't promote that much, so maybe we shouldn't be surprised. So Hut Rivals, really their big thing was the win streak rewards, which, let's be honest, those flopped for sure. They really weren't that great unless you were in Division 1 or 2, and even so, they really weren't great. Besides the Hut Champs collectibles are the only valuable thing you were really getting from it. It was cool. They were showing coin rewards here, Mega Player Pack, but in reality, these were nothing even close to the actual rewards you were going to receive, which is unfortunate. But then they also removed a lot of divisions. They removed 4 divisions, so there's only D6. And then they also showed all these game modes. Let's be real, guys. How many did they actually even use throughout the year? They really didn't use that many. It ended up really actually being a flop, the whole Rivals playlist. And then it's not a good sign probably when they're just promoting Hut Champs being earlier, starting on a Wednesday. I mean, that really was the only thing they really mentioned about Hut Champs, was just the fact that, oh, and I guess the fact you can search your ping and skill rating. So not really much was promoted here in Champs for 23. And then they showed the new icons, the new alumni. So you got your John LeClaire, your Rick Nash, Brad Richards, Sedins. Just like new power-up icon cards, I guess we're just kind of trying to promote here, because I think some of these guys were already in the game previously, and then they showed the pack animation. Wonder if we're going to get a new pack animation this year for the icons, or just in general, really. I mean, it'd be nice to get one for sure. I feel like we've had the same one for a decent amount of time. I think a lot of you guys would agree. It's probably time for a new pack upgrade. They also have the new women's cards being added to the game, which was cool. I liked it. I mean, also the new X Factor animation here, but yeah, the X Factor women cards and just a women in general and Hut was to me a good upgrade. I don't see why not. And then yet again, they do spoil the first event. You got your Bowen Byram card, Megan Keller, Jared McCann. Sarah Nurse. It was a spotlight event to start it off here. Pasternak, Zach Whitecloud they have, Trevor Zegras, the cover athlete. And they also showed you were getting a free power-up MSP to start the year if you completed all your objectives, which I thought that was really nice to do. But I didn't like the fact that they released literally every single card you kind of knew before the game even came out. Just not a big fan of that personally. I think I really got to go away from that. To me, it's really just smart to try to at least hide some of them for the actual game release, in my opinion. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Again, kind of now you know what to expect when they do a hot deep dive. I just really hope they release it soon. I'm dying to make content for you guys. Always, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're not already. Follow me on all my platforms. All the links are in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next video.